Hello, my fit fam. So in this video, you are going to see my entire weeks of workouts. Right now, my training split is 3 lower body sessions, upper body session. As per usual, I will be sharing voiceover tips, cues, guidance on the exercises that I do throughout the week so that you could make the most out of your training session and get to your progress and results. If you are new to my channel, my name is Ella and I am a fitness coach. When it comes to the training split, we always have to keep in mind what is the intention and the goal behind this training program. Right now, I am in a fat loss phase. However, the workouts that I have been doing for many years, I do pretty much the same workouts, the same exercises. Generally, I will rotate between different exercises every single training block, but essentially it is pretty much the same exercises that I do to achieve a full body transformation. Regardless of the phase that you are in, we always need to be training with intention and with intensity, because that is where the biggest difference and where progress comes in. I cannot emphasize that enough. Training with intention. At the end of the video, I will also give you an update with what my current physique looks like. Let's get straight into it. Is the training split, which I'll pop over here. I am incredibly excited to take you all along my week of workouts. I have always wanted to share my workouts, my sets, to help inspire you all to step foot into the gym and get strong in both the mind and body. So as mentioned earlier in the video, you will be seeing my week of workouts, which will include 3 lower body sessions as well as an upper. And I will also be showing the first set or the top set of every exercise that I do with the text of the exercises, the exercises that I'm doing. So starting off with my favorite first lower body session is the squats focused lower body session. So when it comes to how I program for the goal of building muscle as well as getting strong, or you could say body recomp, and now because I am in a fat loss phase, I always do some form of squats. You always want to start off with a highly complex exercise. So a highly complex exercise is an exercise such as the squat, which involves multiple muscle groups working at the same time. So as you notice from the beginning, I showed you my warm-up set at 40. Now it is 60, and then I will be working up to my working set. So this is another warm-up set. So when it comes to squats, I have been squatting for quite some time, and because of the training experience that I have, that has allowed me to be able to lift heavier. If you are able to lift heavier, that generally means that you need to do more warm-up sets, as you could see here. I have on my YouTube channel on how I prepare for my squats, so you could go check that out after you see this video. I have multiple videos on how to perform the barbell back squat in terms of the warm-up sets and whatnot. So starting off with squat, at the same time, it is really about being intentional when you do such a highly complex exercise such as the squats here. So I am taking my time, and the whole point of this is to really prime your body for the actual working set. I have been doing barbell back squats for the past 6 years, and although you see me here performing a squat and thinking, wow, she's so strong, and I could tell you that you can too become strong. You can too squat with great form and technique. I just had more time to practice, and I have been putting in the reps consistently. And if you put in the reps and practice consistently, then you can absolutely be able to squat heavy. And another thing is that you cannot compare your starting journey to where I am with where I'm at with these heavy barbell back squat. I love training for more than what it does for the body, which is obviously I want to get strong and working towards physique changes. But at the same time, it really is about getting strong in the mind and pushing your limits. Because of my training experience, having trained consistently lifting weights, that is specifically for the past 8 years, it really is about mindset. And I love training because you go through different phases in the journey and you are always forever growing, whether that is physically, mentally, emotionally. It really is about pushing your limits. And I am talking from my experience. There is still a lot for me to learn, and I always see training as a form of progression in life, a form of improvement. And I still feel like there's a lot of things that I could certainly improve on. So this is my top set at 120. And again, if you've just started out or you have been training for quite some time, I encourage you to keep going at it. And again, for these squats, I have shared some voiceover cues and tips in other training videos that you can see on my YouTube channel. So here is my top working set at 120 kilos. And again, the focus is really about, so when you are training, it really is about the focus and the intention that you put towards to execute every single rep that you are doing. So the next exercise is a walking lunge, and I absolutely love walking lunges because they are great to work on core balance as well as build really jacked legs. They are it's a hard exercise. No one likes lunges because it's hard. It's hard because it involves a lot of stability and core strength, because when you do a lunge and when that foot lifts off, when the foot lifts off, you basically are unbalanced for that time that your leg lifts off the floor to the next step. This involves a lot of core strength. I encourage you to learn to love the lunges because purely for building strong core. That strong core that you build will carry in all other exercises that you do. And who doesn't like a strong core? It really does help with your day-to-day function, with functional sort of tasks and activities. And here this is my second working set. It is my top one at 80 kilos. And again, I really want to emphasize that I have been training for quite some time. So my body is resilient to this number of load. Don't feel intimidated. Don't feel like you can't do it, of course, because we all started from somewhere. I could tell you and I could guarantee you that when I started my lifting journey, I could never be able to start off from 80 kilos. Please bear in mind that I have been training for a period of time, and even if you see fitness influencers or people that you admire, they have been training for a very long time, that their body will adapt to the heavy loads. And this is just what we do consistently. And if you do this consistently and practice good form over and over, your body will become proficient at it. So the next one that the next exercise is a leg press here. So leg presses again. So you want to put the high or the challenging exercises, the compound exercises, which involves a lot of it's highly a lot of technical you need to execute your form and technique, and it's a skill. So you want to put that at the start, and then your fixed machines here, which is the leg press that I am doing, is later on in the training day for this one. So this day is a lower body day with the squat, which I call it a squat focused, and then Usually how I program is I would do a strength-based workout, which is the squat and the lunges as you saw, and then the remainder of the training session will be towards a fixed machine. So this way, for example, here, which is the next exercise that I'm doing, is a seated leg curl, is isolating the hamstring muscle, because at the same time, we want to put the harder exercises at the beginning, that is mentally and I suppose physically taxing and demanding. So that is the start. You would never want to put a barbell back squat towards the end of your training session, because that could result in injuries. As you start training, throughout the training, you are more prone to get fatigued throughout the training session, and you always want to put the high demanding taxing exercises at the beginning. And with the fixed machines, as you have seen in the later parts of the training session, is less fatiguing, obviously because it's fixed. You are in a fixed position and you are isolating the muscles that you are working towards. So this is the leg extension, which isolates the quads. Generally, when you do an isolation exercise, then the more reps that you can go. And this is the 5th exercise. I believe it is the final exercise for the squat day focused. Moving on to Tuesday, which is the second day, is a glute and hamstring focused day for me. And starting off, we are doing the hip thrust machine. And before you do the actual working set, I like to prime or activate the glutes. And as you could see, I had the band and just practicing that hip hinge movement, waking up or activating the glutes. So here is my top working set. I have the band around my knees just so that I could push my knees out at the same time and really hit the glutes all around. And it also helps if you don't have to put the band around, but you could if you'd want to. It just helps push the knees out and get more of an activation on your glutes. And as you saw earlier with the warm-up, you want to hit that peak tension at the top. So starting off, this is my next top working set. You want to fully extend at the hips at the top, and notice how my chin is tucked down. When you tuck your chin down, that pushes your ribs. You have your ribs down. When you have your ribs down and you sort of lock up at the top, this prevents any arching of the lower back, and this is incredibly hard. I am trying not to hyperextend by keeping my chin tucked down. And when you hip thrust up, you want to be thinking pushing through the heels and squeezing at the top. This is the actual top working set. I love starting off with hip thrusts. It really isolates the glutes super well. So here, because it is a little bit heavier, I have taken the band off. I don't think I would have been able to do it with the band, but here it really hits the glute max, and fully the peak tension is at the top. So make sure you are able, if you are not able to hit peak tension, then lower the weights. But I have been hip thrusting heavy for a very long time that my body is used to that. The next exercise is a barbell RDL, which I absolutely love, and it should be a staple in your training session if you want to build strong glutes, hamstrings, and a really strong posterior chain, which is all the muscles on the back. Who doesn't like a nice sexy back? Glutes, hamstrings, and calves. I swear by RDLs, it's not only just to build a nice back, but it also is about strengthening that back muscles, because we want to have a strong back to improve on your posture and learning how to hinge at the hips, hinging at the hips. So this working set is at 100 kilos. This is my top set using wrist straps. And I want to share this tip with you all. When you unrack the barbell, please set up racks. Please do not, ladies, do not lift it off the floor. Set up racks just above, so that the barbell is just below your knees, so you could save the energy by lifting it off the rack as opposed to the floor to the actual lift itself. And here, just a few quick tips for you is to lats engage, and you're hinging at the hips, keeping the barbell as close to your body as possible and soft at the knees, and then you hip hinge back and push the floor away and strong hip drive through. So this is the second exercise. Moving on to the third one. So this is a hamstring glute focused day. I am doing a leg curl. I really like seated leg curls. It really targets the hamstrings in the flexed position. So this is it's the opposite movement from doing a RDL. When you're doing an RDL, you're hinging at the hips, keeping the hamstrings in a lengthened position. Whereas when you do a leg curl, you are flexing, you are flexing at the knee joint where your hips are fixed. It's not hinging as it is in the RDL, and you are shortening as the heels come down. You are shortening the hamstrings, so targeting the hamstrings in both the lengthened from the RDLs and the shortened position, really optimizing strength. And I really suggest that you do the both, because generally I say the majority of the people that I talk to, as well as the population, can have quite tight hamstrings. So hamstrings are important, and most of the time I know of women that are very quad dominant. If you are quad dominant, let me know in the comments below. So if you are quad dominant, please make sure you are also strengthening your hamstrings in both the lengthened position for RDLs as well as the shortened position as you would in a seated leg curl or a lying leg curl. Moving on to the next exercise, which is the single leg RDL here. So the difference between using a barbell and a dumbbell here is that with the dumbbell, obviously I am able to do the single leg. We want to do single leg because everyone is unbalanced. You will have one side, whether that is your glutes, hamstrings, calves, even upper body, is stronger than the other side. So doing single leg allows you to target the single leg, as well as using the dumbbell. As you could see, I am able to have the dumbbell almost touching the floor. This gives it a huge range of motion and lengthening the hamstrings and glutes. This is such an excellent exercise, and I highly suggest you implement some single leg work, such as this exercise here, in your training program. And again, ensuring good form and technique, keeping that hip squared and hinging at the hips and soft at the knees to target the hamstrings and glutes. All right, this is the next day. So Wednesday is a rest day. Coming to Thursday is an upper body day. This is just a push-pull day. And here I am starting off with some barbell incline chest press, and starting off with the warm-up. Just wanted to let you all know my upper body is my weakest, so the weights do not compare to my lower body. This is something that I am aware of and that I would like to continue to work towards. Starting off with the barbell as a warm-up, and here it's really about practicing technique. So as you could see, this is the biggest debate on the internet right now. You see that I have an arch in my lower back. I am going to share this with you all and the reason why there is an arch. as you could see that when you perform a chest press, whether that is a flat bench or an incline, the whole idea is that you want to keep your shoulder in its back pocket. If your shoulders are not in its back pocket, and the heavier you go, then you may dislocate your shoulders. You want to put your shoulder in its safest position, which is locked into back pocket. And the only way to lock it into back pocket is to engage your lats. When you engage your lats, your shoulder is locked into position for you to be able to safely bench press the barbell down and up. So when the lats are engaged, it creates that arch, as you could see in the lower back. The only reason, and I'm going to say this again, the only reason you see an arch is because your lats are engaged. And when your lats are engaged, it puts your shoulder in its most optimal position to press the barbell up. That's all I'm going to say. And please let me know in the comments below, if this is what you do as well. And that is if you are lifting a heavy load. And just to let you all know that this is my top working set. It is a mere baby weights, and it is quite heavy for me. If you are just doing the barbell, then that's fine. You don't need to have an excessive arch. But if you are a powerlifter, which I am not, and when you see powerlifters, they create a massive arch, but it is only for 1 to no more than 5 reps. Because yes, it could be unsafe to put your body in that arched position, but ultimately it is for lower reps, 1 to 5 reps, and to keep your shoulders in its fixed position to be able to load a heavy barbell, to load the heavy barbell and press it up. So that was quite heavy for me, and that is why you see the arch. Okay, moving on to the next exercise, which is one of my favorite. It is a landmine press. And here, I love this so much because it sort of goes in a diagonal, it's diagonal. It's not straight up and down. So the position from my hands all the way to my waist is a diagonal position, as opposed to pressing a dumbbell above your head, which is vertical. And if you push it right in front of you, what I did before was an incline, or if you are seated right down, then that is, also in front of you, that is straight horizontal. But here is a diagonal position. Diagonal really hits the lats super well. And lats, your latissimus dorsi, that's the long term for it, is the muscle that we all know where the lats are. And it is such an underrated exercise, but the lats is such an important exercise when it comes to having a strong core, being able to bench press, being able to squat and deadlift heavy, because your lats holds your core together as well. They are directly behind your abdominal muscles. This is what the front view looks like. And as you could see, I'm holding onto my side because generally speaking, when you push a weight up, you tend to open up your hips. I am putting, so if you just put your hands on your side, this gives you a little bit of a cue to keep your hips squared. As you could see, my hips are squared. I'm trying not to move or open up my hips, so that way it optimally targets the lats. And I say lats, but it also targets your shoulders as well. I am not going overly heavy, and the position on where you want to stand is to make sure that when you press up, the line from your waist to your hands are in a diagonal position. So again, taking your time and full lockout at the top, keeping your core tight. You don't want to arch your lower back. You don't want to extend it. So here you're working on your lats and as well as your shoulders. This really hits the shoulders. This is an all-round great exercise, and I program it not just for myself but for all my clients, and they absolutely love it. So give this a go. Try this. And again, as always, it's the mind to muscle connection. Moving on to the third exercise, which is a T-bar row. I absolutely love this one that targets the whole upper back as well as lats. And here I am in a prone position where my belly is on the pad. This just gives me a little bit more stability, and I'm able to target the upper back really, really well. So here you want to focus on so here I'm protracting and then retracting hard, especially when it comes to squatting. We want to recruit all the back muscles. So it's so important to work on your back. And as you would notice, that with my upper body exercises, it's a lot of push. For me, I'm very strong in my posterior chain because I have been doing a lot of pull exercises. So it's important for me to create structural balance. So you would see me do a lot of push, but pulling exercises are just as important. So you need to work on your weaknesses. This exercise here is the lateral machine raises, which is an absolute must for everyone. I absolutely love this machine, which targets the shoulders so well because you are in a fixed position. When you are in a fixed position where your belly is on the pad, all you're working on is targeting that shoulder. It hits it so good and it burns. So if you want to grow your shoulders, then I highly suggest you do this exercise. And you don't have to go with every fixed machine. You don't have to go too heavy. If you go too heavy, that could be at the cost of just moving space through air and you're not really feeling the muscle. When it comes to hypertrophy, which is building muscle, as well as you want to optimally, target those muscles and keeping that strong mind to muscle connection, then especially on a fixed machine, you are able to do so. It's not about going lighter. It's not about going so heavy, or it even isn't about going light that you're not feeling anything. You want to go at your sweet spot so that you are able to feel the muscles that you are working towards, but it has to be challenging enough at the same time. So find your sweet spot. All right, the next exercise, which is a lat pull down here, and I am using a sort of neutral spine and coming all the way down and taking my time. Here, you're not seeing my face, but it is challenging. When you do, I'm just gonna give you this takeaway again, is that you are to connect your mind to your muscle. You are training with intention. You are not sloppily going through the motions. You are engaging the muscles. Even if you need to go lower in weight, then that is totally fine. So that was what I was doing, and it was towards the end of the exercise, so I was quite fatigued. Moving on to the final day, the fourth day. So that was Thursday, the upper body. Friday is a rest day, and today is a Saturday. So this is my fourth session, which is another lower body day, and it is deadlift focused. So starting off with the deadlifts, and here, very similar to the squats, I do normally do some warm-up sets prior to the actual working set. And as you could see, I am being intentional, even on such a light weight. I'm connecting my mind to your muscle, and I encourage you to do the same, because every opportunity that you get in the gym, regardless of what the number on the weight on the barbell is, it is your opportunity to connect your mind to your muscle. The more that you get into this habit and the practice, it's just going to come natural. And the more you visualize it on your working set, on your warm-up set, and you have this mindset as soon as you step foot in the gym, you're being intentional, you're focusing on the workouts in hand, you are going to have a much more productive, a much effective, and the much more optimal training session. And you want to make the most out of your training session. You don't want to just go in there and just go through the motions and that is not the fastest way to grow. That's not the fastest way to build muscle or get strong. So I encourage you, as soon as you step foot in the gym, already be in that mindset that you are strong and you're being intentional with every single rep that you do, regardless of it being a warm-up set. So here in my next working set is also a warm-up set. This is my warm-up set. And again, I am practicing that mind to muscle connection, focusing, and prior to the actual working set, this also gives you an opportunity to connect to visualize that form and technique before you lift the barbell off the floor. So with that being said, it's important to take your time and be intentional, as you could see here. Another tip that I want to share with you when it comes to training is training involves a lot of focus. So this is my sort of working set next at 100 kilos. And again, I said with my squats, I've been deadlifting for a very long time, and please don't feel intimidated. You can definitely get there, but please get some guidance. If you need guidance, please reach out to me. I do offer one-on-one personalized coaching where I take you through the correct form and technique, or you could go into a gym and find an in-person trainer to help you with form and technique, because deadlifts are such a highly complex exercise. It is difficult to master, but once you master it, and by mastering is getting good at form and technique, and no one will start off with perfecting their deadlift. No one. You need to get started somewhere. You will suck, like I have. I remember when I did my first kind of deadlifts, I was terrible. My form was so bad. It was so cringy. But once I had an in-person trainer to help me with my technique, and I just practice and practice, I improved. So please, it is a hard exercise, and you can get injured if you perform it with incorrect or poor form and technique. So please look after yourselves, get the right guidance so that you could execute this, because once you learn proper form and technique, I could guarantee you that your strength, your physique will seriously take off. And not only that, you will feel like a strong boss person. I love deadlifts because when you are able to lift some heavy stuff off the floor, it feels so damn empowering, and I would love every single woman to feel strong, as it is the mindset. It is strong in the mind, it's strong in the body. So this is, I believe, my top working set. Here, a few cues is you pushing the floor away, keeping the barbell close to your body, and a strong hip drive through. Using wrist straps to aid in grip strength. And again, this is the first exercise of the training session, because it is a highly complex exercise. So that is why you need to do that first thing, so you could have optimal energy and perform it with correct form and technique. Moving on to the next one is a hack squat. So I have popped on some knee sleeves. It is not necessary, but knee sleeves do help to give your knee joints a bit of warmth so that you could spring up. I personally find that it does help. It is a great investment if training is something that you see yourself doing in the long term. So here, I really do like the hack squat. It's very similar to the barbell back squat, but here your back is it's on the pad. It is in a fixed position, and you target your quads and glutes much better, because when you do a barbell back squat, which is using free weights, it involves a lot more core, which you will build core strength. I rarely do any core exercises. Deadlifts and squats help build core strength. You don't just you build core strength by doing those exercises, because your core is forced to be on. And I just popped on a belt to help with core here, because these weights are quite heavy. And When you are on a fixed machine compared to free weights, it just takes away the core and your back is stable on the pad at the back. So here, do perform a weight that you can manage and that's not too heavy, that you're not moving heavy weight through space, but you're also feeling the muscles and you're also challenging yourself. It really is about finding your sweet spot. You're not going too light that you're not feeling any engagement, but you're not going too heavy that you're not feeling anything at all. You need to challenge yourself. The third exercise is one of my favorite, which is a back extension. As you could see, you want to put the pad at the crease of your hips so that when you come up, you are thinking of pushing your hips into that pad, as you could see, and squeezing the glutes at the top. Here at the top, you also will feel your hamstrings, which is normal. If you are short like me, I am 5'2", 159 centimeters. I am standing on some plates to give me that extra height so that my hips are on the crease. This is what it looks like on this side. I have holding onto some weighted plate to just give that sort of extra resistance on the glutes. This also will work on your back as well because you are extending. You're extending at the hips, so you will feel your back. It is normal to feel your back. It's not like you feel your back, it's a bad thing. No, this is what it looks like on the side, and a few practices here. A little bit heavier in weights and really squeezing the glutes at the top. And you also want to make sure that you're not hyperextending so that you're keeping the lower back as flat as possible. Often what I find is the mistake that they make is that they go all the way back and they arch at the lower back and you're not really feeling the glutes. So this exercise is more glute emphasis, and it's really about connecting that mind to that muscle. It is quite challenging. So here I've dropped the weight down and then just finishing off with some body weighted back extension. Because the first few exercises, the deadlifts was another thing that I want to share about deadlifts. It is so taxing. It is so taxing because it's a full body workout. And by now, this third exercise, I am pretty spent. So it is so okay to drop the weight down and just go at body weight without hurting or breaking your form and injuring yourself. That's the last thing you want. It is about learning how to, be smart about your training. The next exercise, which is the pendulum squat, I absolutely love this one. It is a bit different from the hack squat because you get a much more deeper range of motion. As you could see, I'm able to come down a lot deeper, and when you are able to come down a lot deeper, your knees are more flexed, as you could see, and my hips are more flexed compared to the normal hack squat. It's just a more range of motion because it's deeper, more hip flexion and knee flexion, which targets the glutes and quads so well. And here I am not going too heavy because I am pretty spent by now, but getting that engagement of the quads and hamstrings here. So with this one, again, you want to make sure that your entire back as well as your bottom is always glued to the back. Do not lift your heels off, otherwise it will be otherwise you'll feel it in your lower back. So go lighter in weight and make sure that your entire back and glutes is always stuck to the pad. Okay, by now this is the final exercise, the fifth one, which I want to do some single leg stuff. Single leg stuff is important because, as mentioned early in the video, that one side is always stronger or less stronger than the other side. So you want to build strength on and build you want to bring up the balance for both bring up the strength for both sides. So I like to finish off with some single leg presses. And again, with fixed machine, it is towards the end of the exercises. I would never do deadlifts towards the end. So here you're in a fixed position where everything is sort of, fixed, and all it is working on the single leg. As you could see, I am spent. Okay, now you are going to see my physique update.
The crowd, I never thought that I would see you tonight. We lock eyes and you smile. Every single memory comes back to life. Your lips pressed against mine after a night out. We got drunk and ended up at your place. From the moment that I saw you, I knew that it was love, bet that you felt the same.
You enjoyed the weeks of workouts and you are able to take away the cues and the tips to make the most out of your training session. So when it comes to this training block or this split that I'm doing, it's important to understand the goal behind it. The goal is to build muscle as well as get strong under the barbell. As you would have seen in the video, I'm doing barbell back squats as well as deadlifts. These two exercises are compound exercises, which involves a lot of good technique in order to execute the exercises well and safely. Although the goal is to build muscle, it is not necessary to do barbell back squat or to do deadlifts, but they certainly do help in building muscle. At the same time, these exercises are highly functional. I believe that everyone should have some form of understanding on how to deadlift and how to squat just for everyday function. I like to get strong under the bar and I like to help women get strong under the bar. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see more of next time, so I will make a future video on that. And if you enjoyed this video and found value, then please don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos like this. Otherwise, I just want to let you know that your mind is your most powerful asset and that you could achieve anything you put your mind to. I'm sending you so much love and I will see you in the next one. Bye.